Hey everyone, it's Keeley here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video, which is a little bit different to some of the previous videos we've been doing. But I have done videos like this in the past. If you have been following along for a little while, whether it be through other videos, social media, newsletters, things like that, you'll know that we have just been on a massive road trip. We've done just over 3,000 kilometers. I thought we were going to do more, but the car reckons it was just over 3,000 kilometers, close to 4. But we've just done this massive road trip that basically did a little bit of a rectangle from the Sunshine Coast down to Sydney, out west to Dubbo, and then back up through central New South Wales, Queensland, up to Charleville, and then back across to home. It has been an absolutely amazing trip. At first, I wasn't going to take the camera with me, but then I decided I would, because I don't like to take too many photos on my phone, and the best way to capture some of the memories is sometimes on the camera. Just get those sort of moving videos. It's permanently on YouTube for when I want to go back and have a look at it as well. So I did take the camera along, though I have mentioned it several times through the video. There is something wrong with my camera. I'm really annoyed about it as well. Last year in January, I splashed out. I got myself a DJI Pocket 3 camera. Was absolutely loving it. And about 2 days before we went on holiday, I noticed that the battery on the camera was draining flat, and I didn't know why. And it wasn't until we actually started the holiday I found out. And what the camera has been doing is every 20 to 30 minutes, it turns itself on, and it runs for the sort of period of time that I've got it of being inactive. So I had 5 minutes and then it switches itself off, and it has just been draining the battery. I have got the settings changed so it now only stays on for 30 seconds, but it has been really annoying while trying to sleep at night, hearing the camera turning itself on and off until it's drained that battery out. I've done things like I've put it in its case inside the suitcase and you can still hear it. I've put it in bathrooms and shut the door and you can still hear it. It has driven us absolutely potty, to the point that all we could do was keep laughing every time the camera's done its thing. Occasionally it would behave itself and then it would just start doing its thing again. So I have no idea what's wrong. I've done everything they suggest doing, including downloading the new firmware. I've reformatted the card. I have done everything and it still does not do what it's meant to do. So I'm really ticked off, because of course it's outside of its warranty by 3 months and there's not much I can do. So the camera has driven me potty, and there's been times where it's been driving me batty so much I actually just did not take the camera with me at all. You are going to see footage on this. Some of it will be with the camera, with the microphone, so you get really nice clear speaking. And then there's other times I forgot to pick up the microphone but had the camera when we were doing some of our walks, so the volume might be a little bit different or the sound quality might be a bit different. And then there was the day we went to the Carnarvon Gorge. I really didn't want to carry the camera with me, and all of that footage is taken on my phone. So again, it's going to be slightly different on that one, but I've been watching it as I've edited it and I'm quite pleased with how it has all come together. I don't think it's too bad, but that's for you guys to see. But let's get into this massive road trip that hubby and I have just done. what a day it has been. Hubby and I got up at 4 o'clock today and we set off on our holiday, and it's been a mammoth drive down here. So we got up at 4, we left home probably about 4:45 in the morning, and it is now 20 to 5 in the afternoon, so an almost 12-hour trip to get down here. We did have a few stops. We stopped for some lunch and, you know, some toilet breaks and to stretch our legs and things, but we are finally down in Sydney to start our holiday, and I can tell you, it is chaos outside trying to drive into the city. I'm so glad hubby did that bit of the drive. And then trying to get into the car park. We're staying at Ridges World Square. We've stayed here before when I used to work for Ridges, but we never used the car park. And oh my God, it's like, where is this car park? You go in at level 8 and we had to go all the way down to level 3, which doesn't sound like much, but considering it's 8, 8A, then 7, then 7A. So that's a lot of levels we went down. We got down there, no parking. So I've said to hubby, you go upstairs, go and find out what's going on. And he came back down. He says, all right. He says, we need to go down some more. And one of the concierge came down with us and showed us where to go. So we're all the way down at 2B, which is the bottom layer of this car park. It's like, yeah, cars staying there. We just need to add an extra half an hour onto our travel time to get it back out. So, but we're here. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to take you along just for a little bit of our holiday. I do want to enjoy this time away, but I thought I'll take you along, show you some of the things that we're going to see, some of the sites. Obviously can't show you the show we're going to tomorrow, but I'll show you some of the things we're going to see along on our holiday. So let's go and see what we're going to get up to. Just to prove we did make it down to Sydney Opera House and then the Sydney Bridge over there. We did go out last night to go and find dinner, and oh my goodness, there were so many people. It was absolutely chaotic. I got so overwhelmed. We did eventually find a nice little katsu place to go and eat at, and then this morning we decided we would come and get up early, come and enjoy the sights, hopefully when everyone was still in bed with hangovers. There's a few diehard joggers out here at the moment, but otherwise it is nice and quiet, so we can actually enjoy it. We're going to go and find somewhere to have for breakfast, and then we are going to go and try and find a place called The Rocks, and we're going to go and do the markets. But we'll be actually heading over to the Opera House to watch our show tonight. Apparently it's on the steps, so it's all open air. So really looking forward to actually seeing it. Wander to the other side of the bridge. We're also checking out the restaurants to see where we might go for dinner tonight. Still don't know, but look at that bridge. Much better view from this side. And then we're a bit closer to the Sydney Opera House here. And I'm not quite sure. Apparently it might be where all the setting up is being done. Just over in this direction here. That might be the stage for tonight. In fact, I'd say it definitely is, because it's meant to be on the steps. So I think I might have to bring a little cushion with me to sit on as well. But I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular with this view. All right. We're going to go do a little bit more exploring and then hopefully head on back over to the Rocks Markets and go and see what goodies we can find there. Looks very different from angles. You can see all like the individual bits of the sails rather than one big piece, but it's pretty impressive really. Look at the view from up here. But yeah, we're pretty sure that what they're doing over here is setting up the stage for tonight. Oh, very exciting. I'm hoping they're actually going to put some proper steps there too. All right, so we were getting a little bit concerned because we thought that the show must be over there setting up the stage, and we're watching and we're thinking, oh, it looks like they're actually pulling the stage down, not setting it up. So we've just found a security officer and said, what's going on? And he said that that is actually from the Anzac Day parades from last night. And we said, well, where's the show? And he says, oh, you have to swim. You have to swim across here. It's like, what? And now we can actually see it. So let's see if we can zoom you in a little bit. Right across the water here, that's as far as I'm going to be able to zoom. Over in that direction there, you can actually see a stage. It's like, but it's meant to be on the steps of the Opera House. How do we get over there? And he said basically tonight when we get here, we come to the steps of the Opera House and we come down to the little wharf down here and they take us by boat, which makes complete and utter sense. Sorry, I think the wind's just picked up, so hopefully the mic's not too bad. But the boats take us over to the show, which makes complete and utter sense if you've ever seen it, that she actually does catch a boat when in the movie, at least I've seen. So that makes so much sense. We were so relieved. We've just had a good chuckle with the officer there. So that one over there is definitely not for us. So thankfully, it's going to be so much fun. Good morning. Oh, it was a late night last night. We didn't get back to the hotel until just gone midnight, and then we were both up at 6:30, so not much sleep. But I don't even have words for the show. It was absolutely spectacular, and I don't think I will ever want to see it anywhere else again. Being outdoors, there was things like fireworks and the displays were just absolutely phenomenal. Hubby has seen it before when here in Australia there was Marina Pryor, and I forget who he said the other person was, quite a well-known person for doing all the shows. He said he saw that and it was really good, but he reckons this just far outweighs it, even with not having people like Marina Pryor in it. It was just sensational, so I'm so glad we've seen it. I am sore all over. We did a lot of walking yesterday. The seats weren't very comfortable, but you know, what show are the seats comfortable unless you're paying top dollar for the corporate boxes and stuff. But it absolutely fantastic. Today we've just been and had some breakfast down in the hotel. We thought we'd treat ourselves, and we're going to go and do a little bit more exploring. I'm not going to take the camera though. All right, it is just before 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning. I didn't plan on waking up this early, but one of the things I don't understand about cities is there is a building directly across there from me, and they've had their light on 24 hours a day, and it's woke me up this morning about 5 o'clock. So by 5:30 I gave up and just went and had a shower, and we're actually going to head off today. Yesterday I did think about taking the camera out with us, and the camera's been playing up on me. It's been turning itself on and just running for, I think I've got a 5-minute timer on the camera before it turns itself off, and it runs for the 5 minutes, turns itself off, and then it just turns itself back on. And I don't know why it's doing it, and I've tried everything in all of the online help, and nothing's working. And I think the only other thing left is to update the firmware, but I can't actually do that because you set the internet to like you do a Wi-Fi connection between your phone and the camera, and I haven't got it set up so it works from off the mobile internet. It's from off the home internet, so it won't connect. So I can't do that until I get home. So I actually then end up taking the camera out with me last night. So like, or yesterday. Last night I did leave it in the bathroom because it turns off and makes a bit of noise, and it used 60% of the battery overnight, so it's been a bit difficult to take it out with me. But we did go for a massive walk yesterday. We ended up down at the Chinatown, and then we walked all the way from Chinatown up to the top of I don't know what it's called. It's a big point at the top. I'll stick a map up on the side. And we walked all the way around to the quay, and then we walked all the way down Macquarie Street, and we found all these landmarks. We think we found where the carols in the Domain are sung, and we went through the Hyde Park Barracks. That was absolutely amazing. It's a free thing you can do, and they give you a set of headphones and a little iPod thing. And as you go around, there's all these little GPS points, and then it starts telling you a story. So it was telling you the stories of different convicts and what they'd been sent here for, and then explaining all the little relics and things that they'd found. It was absolutely fascinating to go through. And then we wandered down through Hyde Park and went to see Anzac Memorial, and then we came back to the hotel for a little bit. So I'm trying to get my shoes on, but my feet are so swollen from all the walking yesterday. We got back to the hotel, had a little bit of a rest, and then we walked back up the street to the Rocks, and we went and met George for dinner. Oh, so lovely to catch up and just be. So it was a shame I didn't get to take the camera, but again, it's been playing up, so I didn't want to take it and just have no battery power and have to carry it around with me. But we had a really nice dinner. He took us to Messina for some dessert, and I can tell you they have the best sorbets. As someone who can't eat dairy, when it comes to doing desserts in places, you always end up with really boring desserts. And when you go to ice creameries, it's usually things like lemon sorbet is the only thing you can have. They had some of the most amazing sorbets. It was pretty hard to actually choose from, but we did that. We've come back. I've got a massive blister on the bottom of my foot. Apparently we walked over 17 kilometres. We checked just before we came back to the hotel, and it's a half-hour walk from where all the restaurants are to the hotel, and we'd done 17 kilometres or something like that, and the day before we'd done just as much. So George said we've basically walked to his house and back. That's just crazy. But it's been really interesting. Sydney's not my thing, but there are some pretty areas we've been to. As I said, I really enjoyed the barracks yesterday. Today we are off. We've got up early so we can try and avoid the peak hour traffic and get out of Sydney safely. So we're going to head off today. We're going to go to a place called the Three Sisters. Hopefully the camera's behaving enough. I'm going to give it a quick charge. We'll get some footage there, and then we're going to go to a place called Bathurst. It's where the V8 supercar racing, or one of the races, is done. Hubby loves the V8s, loves Bathurst, so he's going to go and do a drive around the track, which is actually a public road. And then we're going to head off to Wellington, and we're going to go and do a cave walk. So that is the plans for today. I'll have the camera with me. I can monitor it turning on and off a lot easier, and plus it's in the car, so I don't have to drag it around too much. And let's go and see what we can find outside of Sydney. I forgot to bring the microphone with me on this bit of the walk, so the sound's going to be pretty bad. I'm sorry. We are at the Three Sisters. Look at that stunning view. Got to see what hubby's yelling at me. What was that? What did you say? I've lost him. I'll show you what we're on at the moment. This walk is crazy. It is so steep, and hubby said it just keeps going and going. Here he comes.
It does keep going a long way down, I think.
Oh dear. We might just enjoy the view from here. Otherwise, the problem is we're in a place called Katoomba, and one of the things we keep having this little bit of a joke about is the parking. They have stung us $3 per 15 minutes for parking in this little country town that has a walk that could be about up to 45 minutes. It's crazy. I was actually hoping to walk across this bridge, but it looks like it's all been blocked off because you can't get down there safely. And I'm not going to be one of these tourists who do something silly and then have to have an ambulance called out. So I think this might be as far as we go. And look at this walk, because we have just walked from all the way up there, up those big steps. So it's going to be a big climb back up, but oh, it's a stunning view. It really is. But yeah, the parking's a bit rich for a tiny country town. We were going to stop for breakfast, and we've just decided that parking's too expensive. We're going to go on to the next town instead and get a brunch there. But that view is pretty specky. Oh, it's my turn to get up these steps now. This is a crazy idea. That's where we were, just over there. It doesn't look very far away from here, but it's a good old walk we've discovered. We put 45 minutes into the meadow. We were like just back up the top over this side, and hubby's gone, we've got 15 minutes to get back. It's like, oh my goodness. But we're back up the top, so we should be able to get back to the car before a fine comes in. But that's pretty amazing view. So I'm assuming then that that's the track.
That's part of the track up here, yeah.
Turn left onto Panorama Avenue.
You speed, you pay the ticket and the points.
I guarantee I will not speed.
party pooper here.
50 metres. At the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on Panorama Avenue. Exit the roundabout onto Panorama Avenue, then turn right onto Pitt Straight.
Dear, I messed up. I booked as a tour to come and do the Wellington Caves. It was one of the things I wanted to do, and I've got the time wrong. I thought we were starting at 4 o'clock, and we don't. We started at 3 o'clock, so we were 20 minutes late, and unfortunately they can't take us down there. So we're doing a fossil walk. So we're going to go and have a look and see what fossils they've found out here instead. And we'll just put that down to experience, and I'll double check all my times. Oh, it is Wednesday morning. We have just arrived at the zoo. We were lined up for a little bit early. It's half an hour before it opens, but we were up early again. So we've just joined the queue to get into the zoo. Last night while I was sitting and looking at a few things, I realised you could do some animal encounters. So hubby's favourite animal is the giraffe. So I've actually found a encounter where we can actually go in with, there's actually 3 animals. There's the elands, the giraffes and the rhinos. So we are going to go and do that today. It's about an hour and we get to feed the giraffes and things like that. So looking forward to spending the day at the Western Plains Zoo. All right, all set. I've got my helmet, got my bike, and then hubby's over there. He's getting his sunscreen. He's got his bike. He hasn't got his helmet on yet, but we are going to go and do the zoo on the bike. I haven't ridden on a bike for years. Let's see how we go.
Very big difference in size. I like to think of your black rhinos as your back rollers. They sort of look a bit more athletic, a bit leaner. where your white rhinos are big crops, big, heavy, bulky animals. Another feature you'll notice is their social structure. So you might have noticed that I've said that we've got 10 rhinos.
Just found the savannah area, and that over there is where we're going to be staying in those cabins, so that we'll have all of this view tonight. So we'll be able to sit out on the deck and have a glass of wine, but apparently we have to be checked in between 2 and 3 o'clock so they can prepare us for this afternoon's activities. Like, there's just so much as we didn't realise was a part of this accommodation here, and it is proving to be so good. We've finished going around the zoo. I have got the sorest butt from riding the bike, and I even picked a bike that looked like it had a brand new seat on it. We worked out that we could actually also change the height of the seat on the bike when we were almost at the end. It would have been so much easier if I'd worked that out earlier, but we had a lot of fun. We are now at the lodge. We're in the zebra cabin. So we've just got our stuff from the car and we are about to go back down. Now we need to go down a bit more. Yep. We're just going to make our way to the cabin. We're going to have a bit of a sit down. And then apparently we've got all these tours booked as part of our accommodation. So 4 o'clock we go and do a giraffe feeding, which is going to make hubby very happy. And then we come back for some dinner, which is included. And then we have another tour, I think it was, about 6 or 7 o'clock. And that is to go and see the lions. And then we come back to our cabins, which I'm going to show you in a minute. They are absolutely stunning. And then tomorrow morning, we've got another early morning tour to see all the early rising animals, plus some breakfast, and then we'll be back on our way. But I'm going to show you our cabin. This is absolutely stunning. Alright, so this is our lodge for the night. We're in the Zebra Lodge. Oh, I love these bell carts for bringing your luggage. Great big wheelbarrows. But this is on the doorstep of our lodge here. Look at that view. I'm looking forward to having a glass of wine, sitting on the deck and watching the animals. Let's go inside. Oh, more steps. So it's like a big clamping? Is that clamping that they call it? Yes. It is absolutely stunning in here. Nice little set for the coffee. Smells really nice in here too. And then we come through, toilet is the first thing you see. But look at this bathtub. I am so hoping that a little bit later on tonight I can get into there. I bought some soaking salts, which my mum had given me from when they went to the Peninsula Springs down in Victoria. So I'm hoping to use them. And an absolutely stunning shower. These do close, if we can. Oh, a bit hard single-handed, but they do close. So you do actually have a private bathroom as well. But this looks absolutely amazing. We are going to get ourselves unpacked. Oh, and this was the other thing we saw. We've already been in here once because they give you a guided tour to your room. And there was this little box sitting on the bed saying, "For you." We opened it up. It's full of snacks. This is absolutely amazing. But we're going to go and get ourselves unpacked, and then we'll have a few minutes, and then we're going to go and have a look at what cocktails are on offer tonight. And this is where I'm going to be later on. Sunrise. We've actually been enjoying it since about 6 o'clock this morning. It was so dark when we first came out here, and as the sun came further and further up, it was like, oh, there's the rhino. Oh, look, there's the zebra. There's the giraffes. It's been absolutely stunning. It is a little bit of a shame. There's some workmen just over there. They're building a new part of the lodge, and they did start about 6:30 this morning. So it's a little bit of a shame, but still, it is absolutely stunning out here. We went and did our tours last night, so we went and fed some more giraffes. We actually got to feed them carrots, so that was really nice. The tongues came out and all around your mouth. Hello, birdie. There's a bird that's just come and joined me. Let's see if down there. I think he's a kurong, which is what we get at home as well. So yeah, we got to feed them, which was super, super exciting. We also did a tour in the savannah here to go and have a look at all the animals. Then we went and had dinner. Oh my God, dinner was absolutely fantastic. It was so delicious. I had lamb and apricot skewers. Oh, it was so, so good. And hubby had a chicken with a rooibos tea dressed salad thing, and that was really nice too, but I did prefer the lamb. And then we went and did another tour after that. We went to go and see the lions at night, so they gave them a couple of little snacks. Didn't take the camera on any of that. Number one, I didn't take the camera on the giraffes because I really wanted to enjoy that without having all the technology and things like that. And then when we went to do the lions, it was a little bit too dark to take the camera. This morning, apparently there is another tour booked. We're going to go and see all the animals before the zoo officially opens, and we come back for breakfast. And then we are hitting the road. We actually didn't realise we had tours and breakfast in the morning as well as all part of the package. And we really need to get to Cunnamulla. We're hoping to get there by 3 o'clock, but I think it's going to be closer to 3:30. And hopefully then we can spend a couple of hours in the hot spring. But for now, I'm going to go and finish my coffee and enjoy this sunrise. Oh, that was a big drive, 6.5 hours from Dubbo to Cunnamulla, and that is where we're about to head into the hot springs. I am so looking forward just to sit in the big hot spring bathtubs and just get away with all this tension from that big drive, but I'm not going to take the camera in. Microphone's flat, so it's going to sound a little bit windy, a little bit noisy, but we're about to leave Cunnamulla and we are heading up to Charleville, and we're going to go and see Lee, and we've got all these things planned, so that's the next step of the trip. I am going to go.
That synthetic has a little bit of sparkle.
Hi!
I'm self-recording it.
Aww. Yay!
Hello, happy people! Volume levels, whereas I don't have
Oh, is that because I've got the microphone?
Oh, could be.
Hello.
Talking to Keeley.
Oh. Look at this absolutely glorious, glorious day. And hey Lee, look, there's clouds in the sky. We're having a bit of a joke because we went to the Cosmos Centre last night, absolutely fantastic. And I had said, I just hope that all the clouds clear, because as we were driving up to Cunnamulla, there was tons and tons and tons of clouds. And she said that there were no clouds. She doesn't see clouds in Charleville. And look at them. There's all sorts of clouds out there. There's a great big fuel dump from a plane that we were watching before as well. But oh, this spot is absolutely stunning. I'm just watching for cars. There's one coming. I better get off the bridge. But today we are having a little bit of an explore in town, and then I'm going to head back on over to Lee's, and we're going to go and cut the soaps that we made, and then we're going to go to the Bilby Centre. We're going to go and see some little bilbies. Really looking forward to that. Yep, cars coming from everywhere. There's been no cars for ages. And then all of a sudden, because I want to film, there's cars everywhere. But this is the Warrego River down here. Looks absolutely stunning. There goes another car. Going to be a beautiful day as well. So we're going to go finish wandering around town. I found a really nice little handmade shop, lots of little local artists, and from what we've seen in the window, it looks absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go and have a look. They don't open till 9 o'clock. I think it's about 8:30. Yeah, it's 8:30 now. So we're going to go keep having a wander around. I'm going to go and have a look in this little handmade shop and see what I can find. My phone's just whistled at me, so I'm gathering that might be Lee to see where I am. So I'm going to keep, well, hubby's walked off, so I'm going to go and find him. Morning! More moulds? More moulds? Hello. I'm sure that was a cat actually inside the shop yesterday.
And with all the windows open, it's not like they can't get in and out.
Good morning. We are sitting here having a little bite of breakfast, watching these galahs playing on the wires of this pole here. Very, very funny. So it is an absolutely beautiful day today. We are about to head off. I've had a really great time here in Charleville. Been so good to finally meet Lee. We've made soaps together. We've been out for dinner. As expected, her and hubby got on so well. So it was really, really nice. We went and did the Cosmos Centre together. We went and did the Bilbies. I got my little Bilby shirt. Yes, I've got the microphone. I can't be bothered to peg it onto myself. So we went and did that. We did a beautiful dinner last night as well. Today we're just having a little bit of breakfast, and then we are heading off for the final sort of stop on our trip. We've got a 2-night stay down in Roma, so we're going to get there probably just before lunchtime today. There's a couple of things I want to go and see. Then we'll rest up for the afternoon, and then tomorrow we're actually going to go out to the Carnarvon Gorge, which is a big national park. So we're going to have another big walk around there, but just enjoying listening and watching these silly galahs playing on the wire up here. All right. We have reached Roma. I actually did the driving, so there's no footage between us going from Charleville down to Roma. It was just over a 3-hour drive because we actually went through Roma to Warrambilla, I think it's called. There was a little calico cottage with lots of handmade products in there I wanted to go and have a look at, which was past Roma, 28 minutes out. So we'll go there first, and then we'll actually come back to Roma, which will be closer to lunchtime, check-in time and everything like that. So we've just come back to Roma, but my poor little car, she is just on a month off. Well, we've only had her for a month. When I got her, she had about 500k on the clock. She now has 4,200 and something K on the clock. And she is filthy. I don't know if you can see it, but there's big bug splats all over my windscreen. So we have just pulled into a car washy place. Sorry, I should have stopped while the camera was spinning then. We have just pulled into a car washy place, and hubby is going to try and get as many of the squish bugs off the car as possible, just to make it a bit easier for when we do get home in a couple of days' time to clean it. It sounds like he's managed to get himself some change. And we're going to start washing that car. Well, I'm going to sit here while he washes the car. Oh, we've come out to see Roma's largest bottle tree here. And I was really curious about bottle trees because Roma is known for them. And so I thought, well, I'm going to have a look and see what these bottle trees are all about. And we've seen lots of them as we're driving around. Apparently, 140 of them were planted here in Roma to honour the people that they lost in World War I. So it kind of gave us a completely and utterly different perspective, whereas we see these trees when we're driving around. They're of all different shapes and sizes, so that's their largest. And then we've got a couple more here, and I've seen a few others as we've been driving around. So I'm pretty sure there may be a few more, but that sort of history and that sort of recognition, it just makes you look at the trees completely differently once you realise that. This one is magnificent though. Glad to see it's nice and protected and fenced off as well. Good morning. It is about 5:20, so we've got a really early start today. As I said yesterday, sorry, I'm putting my shoes on. We are in Roma, and we've got 2 nights here in Roma. And one of the reasons I wanted to stay for 2 nights was because I wanted to go up to a place called Carnarvon Gorge. It's about a 3-hour drive north of here. And then when you get there, there's this beautiful gorge that you can go and explore. Now, reading all the information books, it does actually say ideally that you need to stay at the gorge for 4 to 5 days. Well, we don't have 4 to 5 days to do that. The idea is you are actually meant to take your little backpack, backpack, tent gear, camping gear, and actually go and stay on parts of the walk, which we're not going to go and do. It's too cold. But you can actually go and do some of the other walks. We've seen 2 that we want to do. We want to do the Moss Garden, which is, we've got to decide which one we're going to do when we get there. We'll start doing the walk and see how far we're actually getting. There's the Moss Garden, which is, I think it was 7.6 kilometres, and they say to give 2 to 3 hours to do it. And you go walking along the main track, and as you come off the track towards the Moss Garden, it's meant to be this beautiful, like, little green, mossy, ferny area with a big pond at the end of it. Sorry, I'm struggling with my shoes this morning. Can't multitask today. The other walk we want to do is actually 8 kilometres, so it's a little bit further down the track, and that's called the amphitheatre. And when you go in there, you are literally between the cliffs of the gorge, and it looks absolutely stunning on the photos. The thing is, the Moss Walk says it's about 2 to 3 hours, which is a nice time. And then the amphitheatre, it says to give 3 to 4 hours, which is fine. That's there and back, like a total round trip. And that's fine. Like when we were in Sydney, we walked over 30 kilometres over the 2 days. So doing an 8-kilometre walk is nothing. But the problem actually is, sorry, I'm getting those shoes on, is that we've got a 3-hour drive up there, a 3-hour drive back. So that's already 6 hours. And then if we do a 4-hour walk, that's 10 hours. That is a massive day. So we're just trying to figure out what's going to be the best for us based on what we're actually doing. I've got to sneeze. Lee's going to laugh if I leave that in here. And she was telling me, oh gosh, you're so posh. because I say things like cross, and I call it the high street when you go high street shopping, because that's what I've always known it as. She'll say I'm so posh with that sneeze. That's not how I always sneeze. Anyhow, so we'll actually head off for this walk, and we'll go and see how we're tracking along. Sorry, it's not the best view while I tie my shoes up. So our plan is we're going to start off real early. We want to be out of here by 6 o'clock so we get up there before 9. When we start the walk, so you basically start the walk and you can either branch off to this place, that place, or you can go up that place. So we can basically get to the branch where the moss garden is, see how we're tracking for time, and decide if we want to go and see that one or carry on and walk up and see the other one. You can't do both of them in the time that we've got, unfortunately, because it's a fair track off the main track. So like it's another kilometre or so off the main track and then back, and then you'd have to walk further up and then another few kilometres off the track. So it's we can't do them both, unfortunately. We'll just have to decide. So we're going to drive out there, decide what we're going to do. Now, I'm not actually going to take this camera with me. As I've been saying, it's been really playing up on me, and I am ready to toss it out the window. It keeps turning itself on every 20 minutes, and I've had to change all the settings in this so that it only stays on for 30 seconds without me using it. It is so frustrating. But I'm not going to take it because I don't want anything extra to carry with us. It's going to be about 29 to 31 degrees today, so I want to take as little as possible. I will take the mobile phone and try and get some footage of and decide what we're going to do and show you what we're going to do that way. The camera is going to stay at home today because I'm also over it beeping at me. It beeps when it turns off. It's like, so you're actually very aware that it's been turning on and off. Even though it's going to be 29 to 30 degrees today, I'm still going to take my little hat with me because it is cold out there right at the moment. That is the beauty of living out west, is that nothing holds the heating, so it's really cold in the morning, hot during the day, and then cold again at night. So I've got my little beanie on. I will have a jacket until we get there, but I don't want to have to carry it all with me. So anyhow, I am going to go and get a few things for us to take with us, and then we should be heading off probably in about 15 minutes time. Looking forward to this one. Off to see what we can find, see how far we get. Can I cross the river while filming and not get wet? No. I can see the steps we're going to climb. I've already managed to fall into the water with one of the river crossings. I knew I was going to go. I was about 3 stones from the edge and my foot went, because if you don't know, I don't have ankle joints in my feet, and my foot wobbled on the step, and that was the end of that. I was in the water. Not completely, just my right foot went in the water, but now I've got a wet trainer. But oh geez, that's been worth it. But there is a load of steps to climb. This is what we're about to go up. I really do hope it's worth it, because I think there's meant to be even more steps than that. I'm sure it's at 150 steps. I think this one was 150. There's another one that's got like 600 steps. So we chose the smaller one, but it looks absolutely amazing. Look at that. We've just got up those first flight of stairs. Oh, it's so cool in here as well. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, this is going to be well worth it. I can see what's at the end. Oh, I can see, is that a bat? Oh, I don't know. Let's keep going. There'll be a micro bat if it is. This is stunning. That's worth the steps. Look at that. It's so cool in here as well. We decided we had time to come and do the Moss Garden walk as well, because it's on the way back, and it's only 650 metres off the main walking track. It is beautiful in here, so cool as well. We've just seen another couple coming back, and he said it is well worth the walk. Oh, look at this. And I think I got it wrong. I knew one of the tracks had 150 stairs, and I think it's the Moss Garden one has the 150 stairs in it. But he did say it is worth it. Yeah, this is the one with the 150 stairs. I love these walks, but sometimes my body doesn't quite like them. Just the stairs anyway. But let's get it done and go and see what's at the other end. Almost. The rocks are slippery as well, but I got myself a stick. We found a stick to help me manage these climbs. It's just very hard when you don't have those ankle joints to get proper grip on things. I think we're almost there. Back out, I'm going to go and find the car. According to the maps inside, we've done a 10-kilometre walk doing both the amphitheatre and the Moss Garden, and according to hubby's little steppy thing, what did you say, 11.5, so that would have included a bit of other walking we've done as well. So yeah, that was a good day, and it took us the 3 hours that they have on their map. So the websites are very, very generous with their timing, because it said the Moss Garden was 2 to 3 hours and that the amphitheatre was 3 to 4. So you can actually do it in less time. So I'm going to go and find the car, go and drive a couple of 100 kilometres and go and find something for lunch, I think. Alright, sorry, hopefully the volume picks up alright, because I forgot to pick up the microphone again. We've just got back from our 3-hour drive from the Carnarvon Gorge. Absolutely stunning out there. And it's like, oh, we really need to, even though we've already done a big 10k walk, it's like we just need to go and stretch a bit. And I remember seeing these statues or these sort of artworks as we were driving in, and someone said to us that every year from June till September there's a whole heap of artwork which is put into this parkland, and you can actually come down and have a look at them. So I said, let's go and have a look. It's literally 5 or 10 minutes, well, less than a 10-minute walk from the hotel. So I thought, let's come down here and have a look. So I think we can actually go under here because this is just roadwork stuff and it is actually parkland. But we're gonna go and have a bit of a look. Sculptures that are here, this one has to be my absolute favorite. The work that has gone into this, and then calling it, yeah, nah, she's bogged, that just makes it even better. Just look at it, all this work that's gone into them. Absolutely amazing. I'm sure this was one of the 2025 winners, but it's absolutely stunning, the amount of work, and it's all recycled metals from what we were told about it. I love the little doggy that's down on this side, and even the door handles on the car, they've got old chains and all sorts. Oh, look at the windscreen inside, it's like a little cobweb. Oh, look, oh, this is awesome. Good morning. You can see it's a bit brighter. We treated ourselves to a little bit of a sleep in. It is about 7 o'clock in the morning. We're just getting ourselves all packed up and some cups of coffee ready. And then we're going to do the last leg of the trip home. It's about a 5.5 hour trip straight through. So it'll probably be about 6 hours. And then we'll be home to see Miss Pepper. We've had such a wonderful time. Yesterday was absolutely amazing up at the gorge. Thoroughly enjoyed the show and everything about it, but I can see that hubby is packing the car, so I better go and help him, and then I probably won't do any filming. The camera, as I said, has been turning on and off, so I'm going to actually put it in the boot of the car so we can't hear it, so there won't be any more filming on our drive home. All right, so I know I said I wasn't going to do any filming while we were traveling home, and the camera did go into the boot of the car, but I had to get the mobile phone out and do some filming. And I really do need to put the next bit of footage into context, because without it, you're not going to understand why I had to do this bit of filming. Now, ever since we moved here to Australia back in 1990, and even when we were here for a holiday in 89, my family and I have done a lot of road trip holidays. It's cheaper than flying here in Australia doing those road trips. You get to see so much more as well. You know, you pull off at all the little country towns and things like that. So we've always done that, and I've done quite a number of road trips with hubby, and my mum and dad still do a number of road trips together as well. They do some massive road trips. As a kid, I was always in the back of the car. My dad was generally always driving, and my mum was in charge of the maps. And this was in a time before we had GPS tracking, you know, digital stuff in the car. This is when you had to rely on your referdexes as well as your big travel maps and things like that. And so mum was always in charge of reading the maps, and she'd plan our holidays and things. And then usually while we were traveling, she'd go, oh, take this road because I want to see this. And, you know, you'd take a detour to go and see something. But her number one thing was, take this road, it's a shortcut. And my dad never learned. He always did it. He always did what he was told. So I suppose, yeah, he was good like that, but he never learned, because you could be guaranteed that if my mum said this is a shortcut, it will take hours or kilometres off the trip, you knew that by the time you got to the point of no return on this road, it was going to turn into either a graded or a dirt road. Now, if you don't know what a graded road is, graded ones are where there's no bitumen or tarmac on the actual road, but someone from the local Shire Council have been through and they've actually compacted all the dirt and gravel down. There'll be a bit of road fill and that sort of stuff in. So they're actually quite smooth. They generally don't have the big dips in them like you get on dirt roads, but you know, you still can't get up to full speed on them because they can be a little bit slippery. There are lots of dirt, rocks and all that sort of stuff. But you could always be guaranteed that if my mum said this is a shortcut, it was going to turn into either a graded or a dirt road. The best one she ever found, and we always laugh about it, we had gone down this road, mum had said, take this one, it's a shortcut, it will take however many Ks off, we'll get there quicker. And we were at that point of no return when it turned into a graded or a dirt or dirt road. I can't remember which it was. And it's like, too late now, let's just keep going. They kept going down, and then all of a sudden this road stops. It just literally stops. And in front of us was a river. And this was not a river that you could take a four-wheel drive through. This was a river, 50 plus meters wide, deep, and the road started again on the other side. It was like, oh my God. And when we then actually looked a bit more, there's a chain ferry going backwards and forwards over this river, taking the cars. We weren't the only ones there. There were quite a number of people doing this road, this particular road, and this ferry takes the cars backwards and forwards across this river crossing. So that would have to be the best dirt road my mum has ever found on all of the travels. But even today, when she goes traveling with my dad, they always find a graded or a dirt road. I always get a photo of it. However, I have also inherited that little bit of a knack for finding graded and dirt roads, though when I do find them, it's not because we're after a shortcut. It's generally because I want to go and see a particular thing. So for example, when we went out to Stanthorpe once, I wanted to go and see Goat Rock. And to get to Goat Rock, you do have to go down a bit of a dirt track. So generally when I find them, it is with purpose in mind. But I have also found a couple of dirt and graded roads along the way on our travels. Now with this particular trip on the way back home from Roma to Mooloolah Valley, when I'd put it in, I'd seen that Google Maps was going to take us a particular way that I was quite familiar with from a certain point, and I knew that from this certain point to get home, it was actually going to bring us in through the back way, and we actually do drive through farmers' lands, which I knew was going to be graded road. I'd already said to hubby, we're going to come down this road. We've driven it a number of times. It's a shortcut from our house. Well, it's not a shortcut. It is a road that goes from our house up to Mullaney, Montville and things like that, but it is graded for a good section of it. So I'd already said we are going to be going down that bit. Got to do at least one on this road trip. Now with Google Maps, it was showing that we could either come from Roma and go down through a place called Dalby, up through Kingaroy and out the back of Caboolture, and then back up the motorway to home. And it was going to take us 6 hours to do that. And then there was another way, which then took us from Roma across, and it actually took us up and over Dalby, and then it brings us into a little town called Blackbutt, which I've always wanted to go and see that, and then into Kilcoy, and then up through into that Mullaney, Landsborough Road, and then back down to where we are. I was quite happy to do that. It was 5.5 hours, didn't really want to go to Dalby or anywhere down that way, so we decided, yep, we'll just follow, you know, the route that Google has picked for us. So we're going along, and it's like going, told us to turn off the main road and instead of going down to Dalby, and then we're going to start going up through the going up and around. And we were so far down this track, and I said, is that a cattle crossing down there? We can just see this dust all up in the air. So I think that might be cattle crossing the road, because where there was lots of farmland around us. And hubby slowed down, he says, no, that's a dirt road. And there's this car coming towards us on this dirt road, throwing up all this dust and dirt. It's like, oh, you've got to be kidding. Like, this is Google that's taken us down this road, not me. I haven't picked it. So we were having this really, really good laugh. And I said, you know, of all the kilometres we've done, I've only found this one dirt track. And it kind of went from graded, we hit bitumen, then it went back to graded, and then we hit bitumen again. And I said, I don't think it's too far. I think once it kind of, the way the road went, you came off a highway and another highway came up round this way. And I said, I think once we hit that highway again, it will go back to bitumen road. So we've not got too far. And I said, but the bonus is there's no trucks on this road that we have to overtake. Yeah, we didn't have to overtake any trucks, but we were going along this bit of road. It had suddenly gone from this really nice wide road, and it come down to this really narrow road that was probably only just wide enough for 2 cars to go down, and grass on all the sides. It's like you can see all this dust coming at us. It's like, okay, there's a car coming towards us, let's slow down and pull right over. And then it's like, that's not a car. That's a truck coming at us. So hubby's pulled right into the grass, and I'm thinking, please don't get us stuck in this grass, because there'll be snakes in it and all sorts. Please don't get us stuck. And he's pulled us over, and he's actually stopped, because we thought, oh, we can't see the dust past him. And this truck's come towards us. It's like, oh, it's a wide load. So not just a regular truck, it's a wide load carrying heavy machinery. He's coming at us. And he's waved to say thanks for pulling over and doing the right thing. I said, there's another truck behind you. It's like, by this point, I've lost it. I'm just crying with laughter. It's like, how do I manage to do this? How did I manage to find a dirt road with massive trucks on it as well? It was a bit of an adventure. So I had to film it because, well, it's just part of our family thing, I suppose. So here it is. Here's our little bit of dirt track, and then I'll actually show you some of the footage, like the last little bit before we come into home, because it really is beautiful. Just up, it's people don't realise this little bit of land is literally a half a kilometre up the road from us where we are, and it is absolutely stunning. So let me go and show you that. that didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to do just to pick the orders. So I've got them all picked. It's taken me an hour to pick everything out. It's going to take me a lot longer than that to wrap it. I know someone did say to me, and I can't remember who it was, on the last vlog, they said it would be good to do a packing video of all the orders I get while we're on holiday. I'm sorry, that is not going to happen. There is over 30 orders here. That is going to be hours and hours of footage, and it always takes longer to do things when you're filming them. So I'm not going to be filming any more of the packing of the orders, but I am so grateful for everyone who placed orders on both Soy and Shea and the DIY body care website. There was a lot come through on the DIY body care. I don't have to do a lot for them. I just have to put them into the books, but thank you so much for all those orders, because it really did go a long way for me to recover some of that rent money, or to make some of that rent money to keep the shop going and to keep the space going. You've also helped me clear out so many soaps that I have been hoping would clear out. I was hoping some of the razors and shaving brushes would go as well, but sadly, I think they've been one of my worst purchases for the store. I absolutely love mine. Hubby loves the one I got him, but I think they've been one of the worst purchases I've ever made as a stock item in the store. I've had them on my shelf for like 3 years, I think, and I think I've sold like 2 razors. So terrible mistake. We learn from them though. Anyhow, I'm going to get on with packing all of these orders. We have had an absolutely amazing trip. If the Phantom is showing anywhere else as an outdoor production, I highly recommend going to see it. Hubby said he doesn't want to see another one now he's seen that outdoor production, but I do have a feeling that was among the last of the shows that they are actually doing. I have heard rumours that Phantom is no longer showing, and that was the last one. But if ever you do get a chance to see an outdoor production of it, you've got to go and see it. If you are traveling through Dubbo, you need to stay at the Western Plains Zoo. It is a sister zoo to the Taronga Zoo, which more people have probably heard of Taronga, which is in Sydney. And then they actually built the Western Plains Zoo because they couldn't do the conservation work, or as much of the conservation work as they wanted to do in their little Sydney zoo. I say little, it's still a massive zoo in Sydney, but they couldn't do the conservation work of helping to maintain the numbers of some of our endangered animals, like the black and the white rhinos, and all the other African animals. And there were Australian animals in there as well, which they are working on breeding programs to make sure that we keep these beautiful animals in our world. I know that the accommodation is expensive. It was something that we both looked at, and I said, do you know what, we're never going to do it again, let's do it. It was just over $900 for the night, and we thought we were getting accommodation, breakfast, and the day in the zoo with bike hire. It turned out we got the accommodation, which was absolutely stunning. There was actually 2-day entry into the zoo with 1 day of bike hire, which I highly recommend doing the bikes around the zoo. You can walk around it, you can hire a buggy, or you can drive around it as well. But I think the bikes were probably the most fun, and the least, like when you drive around, you drive the car for 30 meters, park it up, get out, get back in, drive it for another 50 meters, that sort of thing. So I think the bikes were the best way to do it. So it included that bike hire, 2 days worth of entry. We then got a fantastic African-inspired 3-course dinner, which was absolutely amazing. We went to we got a personal nighttime tour to feed the giraffes. We got another talk about the black rhinos. What else did we see? Oh, we did the big safari tour and got some really good information about the animals there. We also did a night tour over to the lions and saw them get a little bit of food there. And then the next morning we got a beautiful cooked breakfast, and another tour behind the scenes, watching all the morning prep with, washing the elephants and some of the other animals as well. It was definitely well worth it when you start looking at how much accommodation would have cost us, how much breakfast, dinner, and doing all the bits. I did book us on that separate interactive tour with the giraffes and things. And I think I paid 118 for the two of us to go. So when you start looking at how much those experiences are, and these experiences actually couldn't be purchased that we did as part of the thing, the accommodation is actually a really, really reasonable price, and you'd probably spend that much doing everything separately. So highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you are out in the Dubbo region, treat yourself to one night at the lodge and make sure that you give yourself that plenty of time to experience the whole lot. Thoroughly enjoyed meeting Lee. We had such a blast. Honestly, it was like we have known each other forever. Like there was no, sometimes when you meet people, there's that little bit of awkwardness. There was none of that. It was just straight in, bang, talking and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. Lee is an absolutely fantastic person. As you saw, we did make some soaps. There is going to be a video of that one coming out towards the end of the month, beginning of June, when the soaps are ready. There are going to be some on my website and some on Lee's website. So make sure you go and support Lee as well. She does lots of amazing work. I was watching her do some pouring of cast models and stuff like that as well. Absolutely amazing person. Charleville, you have to do the Cosmos Centre out there. I know I didn't film anything. You can't really film anything at night time. Cosmos Centre was absolutely amazing. And I think it's one of those things, it doesn't matter how many times you go to it, because the night sky is constantly changing and there's always new things happening. You will always see and learn something new every time you go to a Cosmos Centre. And it was so enjoyable. Loved the bilbies as well. Out at Roma, the Carnarvon Gorge. Oh, you have to do the Carnarvon Gorge. If I'd realised just how beautiful it was out there, I would have actually arranged our trip a little bit differently. So instead of staying in Roma, I probably would have stayed closer to the gorge, if not in the gorge, and had a couple of days to explore. Though I do think hubby and I have walked, well, we did 40 kilometres around Sydney. We did another 19 the day we did the gorge. We've done at least 60 kilometres walking in 3 days. Crazy. And then the bike riding around the zoo as well. So we've got a lot of exercise in, but it's been the most amazing trip. I love traveling in those sort of out west, outback sort of areas of Australia. The history and the people out there are just absolutely amazing. I know some of you are saying things about in Cunnamulla and places like Burke. Do you know what? At no point did I feel unsafe. The locals were welcoming. It was really, really great places to go and stay. So yeah, absolutely fantastic trip that we've had. It'll probably be another 17 years before hubby and I go back to Sydney, because that's how long it had been between our trips. It's not our thing. We do prefer that country life and outback stuff as well. So I hope you've enjoyed coming along and just seeing something a little bit different to what I usually show on here. And for those of you in Australia, hopefully I've inspired you to get on the road and get out to these little country towns, give them a little bit of support and go and see some of the magnificent history this country has outside of the city. Oh, and if you are in Sydney, you have to do those Hyde Park barracks. They are absolutely amazing. It is free to do, and there is so much history in there to learn about our country. It really was very goosebumpy while we were in there. But anyhow, I could yak on all day, but I've got all these orders that I need to go and pack and get ready to go out this afternoon. Hopefully I get them all done. Susan, as I have discussed with you, yours is going to be delayed by another day or two. I only have 16 of those melts because she almost cleared me out last time. I do need to make another batch of the melts, but I will get yours out at least by the end of the week. So I'm going to go and get on with that. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this magnificent journey. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, any comments down below. And until the next time, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.